What's going on, my friends? Welcome to episode 15 of the Get Your Game On podcast, bringing you the hottest takes, latest stories, and spicy picks surrounding New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, national, and international sports. Hosted by yours truly, Grassani. Joining us always from Cunningham, Alex Reich, Trevor Lawrence, Kern, and Marcellus Murdock. You can listen to the podcast right now on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at GetYourGameOnP. With all that said, it's time to get your game on.
What's good?
All right, we're back.
What's up, uglies? We meet again.
What's up, beautifuls?
Oh, thank you, Adam. You buying me dinner today, gorgeous?
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about Alex and David.
Oh. Hey, Adam.
And I was talking about you too. Don't worry.
Hey, Adam. You just mad that Alexandra wants a real man.
You know she can hear this, right?
Alexandra, they're only jokes, baby. Miss Alexandra, they're only jokes.
All right. Mrs. Cunningham, right back at you.
Baby, if you're hearing this, don't worry. I'll punch Adam in the face when I see you. Love you.
And Alexandra, if you're listening to this, I'll do the same to Michael.
All right, boys. We got a good show today.
All right. Before we get started, we do have some great personal news regarding one of us. Regarding one man on the podcast. That man's That man's name is Alexander Reich. Alex, tell us what happened to you recently.
Yeah, you piece of crap.
I graduated college.
Alex graduated college, that school that me and David went to.
From TCNJ?
Yeah.
Because Alex can't even read, so I'm surprised he graduated.
Congrats, bro.
Congratulations, buddy.
Alex,
you're still ugly, though.
Alex,
but your acting is still in place.
Oh, my God.
On behalf of the Get Again podcast, Alex, all I have to say is congratulations. Really hope you enjoyed your time at TCNJ as much as I enjoyed my time at Montclair State. Your college years, man, make sure you treasure them.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you treasure them because you're gonna look back on them as part of part of the highlights of your life.
I got a ton of highlights.
I mean, I'm sure we could do an entire podcast episode of our college highlights. If you want to just like talk about your graduation for a bit, like we have like a minute or two, just go ahead.
Okay. So my graduation was an hour long. It was from 8:30 in the morning until 9:30. And it was a great day with great weather. And I got to see a bunch of friends. And the weather couldn't be any better because I knew Sunday was day 2 of the graduation. And it was a little rainy, but I was lucky enough to have it Saturday, and I had a fun time.
I mean that sounds great. I had a similar graduation experience at Montclair State. But again, on behalf of all of us here at the Get Again podcast, Alex, congratulations, and we wish you all the best. Like going forward, we couldn't be happier to have you part of the podcast.
Appreciate it.
All right. Unfortunately, both Chris and Marcellus are out for the second straight episode. Chris, we know we expect him back for episode 16. Marcellus is more complicated because we told you about the internship opportunity that he's getting, and it's kind of hard, and it's been hard for him to balance like that along with make it to our episode. So he still wants to be part of like the podcast going forward. So we just so you know, like as of right now, he has no intention of leaving the podcast. But right now it may be inconsistent on like what episodes he shows up and what episode he doesn't show up for. But that's so for But right now, I would say we expect both Chris and Marcellus back for episode 16. I would say right now, again, if any of them aren't back up for episode 16, we will definitely let you know. We will definitely let you know. But again, Chris and Marcellus, we wish you like all the best. We look forward to having you back on the podcast. Like hopefully sooner rather than later. All right, so that's pretty much all like program personal like information we have for today. So we're gonna jump into a pretty big storyline, as I say for myself. You guys know what season it is, right? You guys know what week it is.
NFL
draft, baby.
Yeah.
It's officially NFL draft season. It's officially NFL draft week, as you all know. The NFL draft will be taking place this Thursday, April 29th, and there's a lot of there's a lot of angles we're gonna cover the draft. We're gonna cover the draft from we're definitely gonna Alex and David are definitely gonna talk a lot about the Eagles draft later on. We're definitely gonna get into the Jets. Michael, Michael, you're gonna have the Jets aspect covered. But we're gonna start off with my favorite team, the New York Giants, and as a Giants fan, I'm just gonna give you like my perspective, how I'm feeling heading into this draft, and I'm gonna be honest, like there's very little the Giants could do at the Giants are currently picking left overall. There's very little they could do as a Giants fan that would make me upset. Because what the Giants, here's the thing of, because what the Giants did in free agency, in my opinion, is that they covered up a lot of their they covered up a lot of their big time needs. Like by signing Kenny Galladay, like they had obviously like near the number one wide receiver. They got that done. They signed Adoree Jackson to be their second quarterback behind James Bradbury, so they filled another hole in that roster. Obviously, they re-signed Leonard Williams on the defensive line. So they because of all the moves they made in this offseason, they've put themselves in a position where they could just let the draft. They could just let the draft fall to them. Because this let's say the Giants didn't like land Kenny Galladay and they had like if let's just say they didn't land Kenny Galladay, they didn't land Joey Jackson or whatever, that would be a signal to other teams that could potentially leak like where the Giants rank. Because if they didn't land Kenny Galladay, that's pretty much an indication like that would be pretty much the Giants saying, hey, we're dropping their wide receiver either, and if that's the case, then other teams that are interested in one of the big three of wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, that the Giants would get jumped. The Giants would end up getting jumped for one of those wide receivers, and there would have been a chance that all three of those guys could have been gone by the Giants 11 because everyone would know that they were going to be taking that they were targeting one of those three wide receivers. Now that they signed Kenny Galladay and they have their number one wide receiver filled up, no one really knows where the Giants are leaning. They put themselves in a position where they could just let the draft fall all of them. For example, if Devontae Smith does end up falling to the Giants, I think that would be an absolute that would be an absolute A+ pick. That would be A+ pick in my opinion. Another route they could go is Micah Parsons, the little linebacker from Penn State. What I love about Micah Parsons' game is that they list him as a linebacker. And he's definitely great at coverage, but he is just an excellent pass rusher. And I would not be surprised if he ends up playing a lot on the outside linebacker edge position in the NFL. But anyway, getting back to I'll go more in depth into my opinions on all these prospects later. But I think what the Giants and Dave Gilman did in free agency is they set themselves up in a position where they could just let the draft play out and come to them, and I think they can be able to react accordingly.
Honestly, your team is going to be doing great, even though sometimes you guys get it popping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying, Michael. getting back to like all the routes they could take, and I'm gonna give you like all my options like for Giants too, from like my favorite to my least to my like least favorite possibility. My favorite prospect here are like my three favorite that scenario outcomes for the Giants. Like tie, like it's a three-way tie for my best case scenario, and this is my A tier. One of my favorite styles would be if Devontae Smith falls to them and they draft him at 11, because even though the Giants did sign Kenny Galladay, I think if a prospect like Devontae Smith, who back in January we all like assumed that there's no chance he could fall to the Giants. Now if you look at a lot of these mock drafts, a lot of people have him falling to 11. A lot of people have him falling like to where the Giants, to where he could be there at 11 for the Giants. And if you could get a guy who won the Heisman, a wide receiver who won the Heisman, and a guy with as much like game changing ability, despite like you can say, or you can say your concerns about Devontae Smith, that he doesn't have like the best build for a wide receiver, but my rebuttal to that is that with the Giants and Kenny Galladay, who is like kind of like a big body wide receiver, having like a threat, like I think that covers up Devontae Smith's really only concern, and I think he could end up thriving in the Giants system with his like pure like dynamic, this just pure dynamic ability. I mean Devontae Smith was just an absolute stud in Alabama, and I thought to myself, like, there's no way the Giants he would fall to 11 for the Giants, and if he does end up falling and Dave Gettleman does draft them, I would be an absolute happy camper. Number 2 would be drafting Micah Parsons, the linebacker from Penn State. Now I have heard there have been like some like character concerns with Micah Parsons, where I don't know if you guys heard the story. He allegedly quote unquote hazed a teammate of his at Penn State, but apparently apparently whatever those like accusations were, he was cleared of them. Like according to I believe it was either police or campus security. Like he was cleared of those allegations. So so take that for like however you will. But in terms of on the field, he is in my opinion like the overall best defensive player in the draft. The way he can, with the coverage he provides as at linebacker, it would be a great with Blake Martinez. You look at him as more of like a tackling linebacker. You look at Micah Parsons, his ability his coverage ability and his ability to rush the quarterback would complement Blake Martinez perfectly. It would really like catapult the Giants defense into that next stratosphere. And my third favorite option for the Giants going into this draft is I think and this is something that we're gonna get into, like, because Dave Gannon recently spoke about this. The Giants potentially trading back, and here's the thing. Dave Gannon recently spoke because for those of you who don't know, Dave Gannon in his entire tenure as a general manager has never ever traded back in the draft once. Not in any round. He's never ever traded back before in the NFL draft. And he recently spoke recently he was pretty passionate about it. He said, like, I'm not gonna force a trade back if there's no about I just wanted to respond to Dave Gillen that. I wanted to call Dave Gillen out on that. You're telling me that in all your years, what is it, 8 years now you've been a general manager, you have not said, like, you have not thought once you had proper value in a trade back. You're telling me that in all those years as a general manager, you have never found it once valuable to trade back and gain more assets. I find that very hard to believe, because if you look back at 2018, like, was the perfect example. Because it was heavily reported that the Broncos wanted to trade up to number 2 for the Giants to get Sam Darnold. I believe they were up by multiple first round picks. But of course, the Giants were so enamored with Saquon Barkley, and they wanted to give Eli Manning a shiny new toy to try to help him because they at the time they were focused on trying to get Eli one more ring as a way to apologize for how poorly they mishandled benching him in 2017, but that's a completely different subject for another day. But it made all the sense in the world for the Giants to trade back in the 2018 draft, and they did. Again, that's another rant for another day. But with him like saying that, like, it has stirred the conversation of the Giants potentially trading back in the draft. Now, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Dave Gettleman is just not is just made it clear that he's not the type of general manager to do a trade back. But if he did, like, let's say one of like the 5 quarterbacks in the draft who we will be getting to later on in the show. Let's say like Justin Fields or Mac Jones, even though it's looking like he's gonna go number 3 to San Francisco, but I'm just saying as an example. Or Trey Lance. If one of those guys falls to 11, if I'm Dave Gettleman, I'm taking phone calls. I'm taking phone calls from the Patriots. I'm taking phone calls from any quarterback needy team, really. Like, I'm saying, make me your best offer, and then I could see like the Giants getting a haul in a trade back, and then they could trade back and potentially grab like one of the edge rushers in the draft. Because this thing about I've read about this this pass rusher class, this edge class. It's not very top heavy. There's not like a bunch of standout prospects. There's a lot of like depth in the like the mid to late first round, like second round, that I think I would love the Giants to take a chance on. I definitely think the Giants definitely should grab like an edge rusher, like either in a trade back or with their second round pick. So those are my 3 favorites scenarios: either trade back for an edge rusher, grabbing Micah Parsons, or drafting Devontae Smith. Those are my 3 favorite options in my opinion for the Giants. So now we're moving on. Like another option that I've heard that I would definitely be is if the Giants drafted Jalen Waddle. I mean, I like Jalen Waddle, but here's the thing: I don't see as much game changing ability in Jalen Waddle as I do with Devontae Smith. If like Devontae Smith was gone, I would definitely prefer the Giants draft Micah Parsons, but over Jalen Waddle. But if the Giants did draft Jalen Waddle, I would not be mad because I still think Jalen Waddle is going to has the potential to be a really good wide receiver in the NFL. It's just not high up on. It's just like not my favorite scenario. But if it did happen, like, I wouldn't be mad. I still wouldn't be mad. The only thing that there's 2 things that the Giants could potentially do that would make me mad. Number 1, which is you can never unfortunately rule this out with Dave Gettleman, him grabbing an interior defensive lineman, because we all know how much Dave Gettleman loves his interior defensive lineman. We saw. And with the Giants, I understand they lost Dalvin Tomlinson like in free agency, but you just signed Leonard Williams to a massive. You just re-signed Leonard Williams to a massive contract extension. You still have like guys like B.J. Hill, like at the defensive tackle position. Like I still think they should end up addressing the defensive. I think they should end up drafting a defensive tackle, but that's not until like the 4th round at earliest, in my opinion. Like, so if the Giants, I don't think it's gonna happen. I do not see a Giants drafting a defensive tackle, but if they did, I would be mad. And number 2, this is a legitimate possibility, and if the Giants did go this route, I would understand it, but still, I wouldn't really like it. I guess again, that is the Giants drafting Patrick Surratt II, the cornerback out of Alabama University. I really like Patrick Surratt II as a prospect. I think he's gonna be an excellent cornerback in the NFL. But here's the thing though: the Giants just addressed cornerback. They addressed it last offseason when they signed James Bradbury, who's like one of the best cornerbacks in the league. They addressed cornerback number 2 with the signing of Adoree Jackson. I just think like cornerback is just so far like from a position of need for the Giants that I just would not like I still think it would be worthwhile for them to spend that high of a draft pick on another cornerback. So that's a route I just I would understand it because Patrick Surratt II, I think is gonna be a great player. If it's just a route, I would understand it, but it's just a route that I just would not like as a Giants fan. So that's pretty much all my thoughts, like on the Giants and their draft, all possibilities. That's pretty much my thoughts on the Giants, and that's where I'm thinking like heading into this draft. Do you guys have any thoughts of the angry bulls, like to anything I said?
I think you definitely hit it on the spot, and I'm interested to see if you're right about everything.
Yeah, and that's like we're gonna get into your Eagles later on in the draft, Alex. But that's the thing. The Eagles pick thanks to that trade back. The Eagles are picking right below the Giants at number 12. And here's the thing: like I know how much you guys are starving for that extra, wide receiver. So it would be that much more enticing, like if Devontae Smith is there at 11 for the Giants, because if you pass on Devontae Smith, I think your Eagles are gonna grab him instantly. So it would make that decision that much harder for the Giants, in my opinion. Michael, you have something to say?
Yeah, honestly, the Giants have a great chance in the draft. You know what I'm saying, boys?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, being a Cowboy and Jet fan, the Jets need to draft a new quarterback. That's their goal.
We're definitely gonna get into the Jets later on. But go ahead, Michael.
But however, the football dynamic of drafts is different. Because in the NBA, for example, NBA is one and done. You know what I mean? Most players want to go there for one and done and play. College, you got to play 3 years, which college football, you got to play 3 years, which is a good thing, but a bad idea. Because some players don't even get the chance. Some freshmen are probably better than some of the senior classes. You know what I mean, Adam?
I could definitely hear what you're saying. I definitely hear what you're saying, Michael. Go ahead. You can continue.
For example, some of the teams, some college football, it's like some of the best players in college football don't even get drafted. They go like if you're like a great first rounder, you won't get picked to the 3rd round. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I know I'm just looking forward to whatever this draft is going to be like this year.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a very exciting NFL draft. So we're going to transition to this show. We'll definitely get into the Jets and definitely the Eagles later on, and we're definitely going to get into this quarterback class like in the second half of the show. But for now, we have to get into one of the highlights of of every single episode, Mike's hot take. Michael Cunningham, take it away.
Okay, boys and homeboys. I've been hot for the last 13 out of 14 hot takes. Honestly, I thought all my hot takes were great because I think Adam and David and stupid Alex and Chris and Marcellus were all mad that Chris Jenkins wasn't on my greatest college shots in college history. He just threw the stupid shot.
We do not mention that hot take. That hot take was awful. It was your only miss. You're 13 for 14, Michael. You're 13 for 14.
That Chris Jenkins is an overrated piece of crap, and he just chucked it in. But
Michael gets to the point. You're in danger of going 13 for 15 now if you don't get your shit together. Go ahead.
This is why I hate some people in the world that are for a certain blank. Point is, what my hot take will be on why the Cowboys been sucking lately, and I'm a Cowboys fan. This breaks my heart to say this. Jerry Jones is the worst fucking owner in NFL history. He is the goddamn worst. He just sits on his old ass all day. Doesn't support anything. You want to build a fucking media of making $1 million team, $1 billion fucking company, and a fucking $1 billion team, which is your Cowboys, which is America's team. How are you going to get mad when we protest? Like, you ain't paying us that much. Shit, you a cheap motherfucking white man. You fucking us in the ass. 2, how you get mad? How you get rid of Des Bryant, who was a great wide receiver? 2, you should have paid Dax that fucking money he deserved because he was a fourth round.
He did though.
About time he's doing something right.
It's not about the money, though.
Point is, this is Mike's hot take, dum-dums. Get it? Let the mic talk. 2, Ezekiel Elliott is one of the best running backs in the league while healthy. If not one of the best, then the best running back in the fucking league. I don't care what anyone calls me, he's one of the best. Dak Prescott is probably in the top 15 best quarterbacks in the league in this generation. If anybody disagrees with me, then you're fucking stupid.
Over Tom Brady?
Top 15 quarterbacks in the league. Genius.
That's easily top 15. I don't think anyone with a brain, anyone who understands football would disagree to that, Michael. I definitely agree. He's at least top 15. Top 10 we could debate about, but he's at least top 15, no doubt.
Prescott is a great player. He's getting better and better every year. Honestly, boys, Jerry Jones he's too old to be owning a football team, and he's screwing up my beloved Cowboys. He's been screwing us over. And now she better put that hand down before I shove it up your throat. Point is.
Can I add something?
What, boy? What?
This has to go with the hot take standpoint.
Go very quickly, Alex. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hurry up, man. I was in my groove.
Okay. Since we are in Mike's hot takes segment, I got something to add to him saying Zeke is the best yet in the NFL. I think that by 2024, Najee Harris is going to be the best running back in the league.
Ooh.
Now can I punch him in the face? Because he has a punchable face.
Who?
Not you, fool. Him.
I said who that guy is.
Michael, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Honestly, we all know Alex was drinking before he did the show today. We're saying that filthy garbage. Alex, this is the thing about Alex. He can never give a Cowboys credit. He can't give the Knicks credit. He can't give Duke credit. If I go left, he go right. I'm a Knicks fan. He a Sixer fan.
I give credit.
I'm a Cowboys fan. He's an Eagle fan. I'm a Yankee fan. He's a Phillies fan. I'm a Duke fan. He's a Villanova fan. Point is, Alex is one of my best friends. He cannot give any Cowboy team credit. And I quote, this is what Alex says. I'm gonna say it how he say it. I'm from Philly. I only support I do not support New York teams or Dallas.
Michael, can you please get back to your hot take about the Cowboys?
Oh, come on. This is part of my hot take, Adam.
I understand this is part of your hot take, but your original
point is...
That's not nice. What did I ever do to deserve such hatred?
All seriousness, the Cowboys could be better if we get rid of fucking Jerry Jones. Enough said.
I definitely agree with you there.
And the Mike's hot take, which is always great. And by the way, I gotta say this: fuck Skip Bayless for saying he's the greatest Cowboy fan on the planet. No, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Michael Joseph Paul Cunningham is the greatest Cowboy fan. So you, Skip Bayless, can suck my dick all 10 inches of it, and you can drop the soap and fucking get died, raped in prison for all I care, Skip Bayless. Go fuck you.
Michael, you're getting this too dark. You can't be talking about that type
That's the end of my hot take.
That's dark, bro. That's dark.
All right. Before we end the hot take segment, since you are a Cowboys fan, before we end the hot take segment, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys heading into the draft? I believe they're picking 10th.
Oh, honestly, we need a tight end. That's our problem. We don't have a tight end. For years, we had probably the greatest tight end history in the whole NFL was Jason Witten, the greatest tight end in football history in the last 15 years.
Okay, yeah. One problem.
I want you guys to name a better tight end than Jason Witten. Name one better.
Rob Gronkowski.
Hell no. Jason Witten is a better tight end than Rob Gronkowski. Gronkowski, who I'm a big fan of, is always hurt. He can't play a whole season.
How about the Chargers tight end?
Hell no, that's even worse.
All right. There's one problem there. I say the Cowboys need a tight end. The only problem is there's literally a 0% chance that Kyle Pitts is going to be there at 10. 0%
Honestly, we need a tight end. We need a tight end. Hopefully,
I mean, Kyle Pitts is supposed to be like the best tight
end.
Kyle
Pitts is the best tight end in the freaking is the best receiver tight end in the draft.
Yeah, but there's no way that the Cowboys are going to get him unless they trade up for him, which I don't think.
We will trade up for him. We will.
You think they should trade? I think that would be a mistake if you guys trade it up.
We have the best wide receivers. We have a great wide receiver, Amari Cooper, who's a great wide receiver.
I understand. I just think it would be a mistake for you guys to mortgage assets to get to mortgage assets.
We have a great offensive line, but it could be better.
Yeah,
our defense could be a little better. Yeah. We just need we need a tight end and wide receiver because we have a backup running back, and we got Prescott who's going to be coming back healthy because this is his redemption year. People have been throwing him underneath the towel. And Elliott, who's probably the top 5 players in the game, was a top 5, top 10 greatest players right now in the league. If Elliott is probably the best. He was killing at Ohio State first 2 years and 3 years, and then he was killing. If he gets back to that killer instinct, no one's stopping Elliott. I'm telling you that. And being also a Jet fan, Sam Darnold is the worst quarterback in the league. I'm sorry. He needs to go. He got to go bye-bye.
You guys already traded him.
I'm just saying, thank God we traded him. He had to go bye-bye. 2, the head coach,
Mike McCarthy.
Let's see what McCarthy can do.
Yeah, it's going to be a big year for the Cowboys, and a lot of possibilities for them at number 10. At number 10, we're not gonna spend too much time talking about the Cowboys, but Michael, great hot take as always. I completely agree. I think Jerry Jones is not a good owner, and I appreciate the Jerry Jones slander, even though I think you took a little bit too far. There was some of the language and stuff you said about Skip Bayless. I think you took it a little far there, but overall, I approve this hot take. You are now 14 of 15.
I'm 15 of 15.
14 out of 15. Live with it. 14 out of 15. Live with it. We're moving on.
15 out of 15.
Moving on. We are moving on to the New York Jets. They are picking 2nd overall. I'm Michael Cunningham. Your next quarterback is going to be Zach Wilson. I'm going to tell you all about Zach Wilson. I've watched a lot of his film at BYU. I've always been a huge Zach Wilson fan with the way he can throw off platform, his ability to throw on the run, make off platform balls, his raw arm strength. I mean, you can see. I think it was one play. I don't know if you guys saw this where he's rolling out to his right, and he just flicks the ball. It goes 50, 60 yards to the other side of literally the other side of the football. He just throws it from he's moving to his right, just throws it to the left corner of the end zone, and the guy catches it in stride for a touchdown. I mean, the guy has just a ridiculous arm talent. I think the Jets, assuming which they will, they are going to drop Zach Wilson at number 2. I'd be stunned if they didn't. So, Michael Cunningham, if you're a Jets fan, which I know you are, I think you guys are very lucky to have Zach Wilson, which it should be.
Let's see what he can do for me late August, Adam.
Yeah,
let's see what he can do for me late August of 2021.
Definitely.
Because Adam, I know this is a football draft show. I got my football NFL picks. I'm gonna say this on record. My Super Bowl picks for this year Call me crazy.
All right, we're not gonna do our Super Bowl picks.
Come
yet,
on, let
Michael.
me do it, Adam. I feel hot, baby.
All right.
I got my lucky underwear on.
We're not talking about Super Bowl picks. It's an NFL draft show, not a Super Bowl pick show.
Adam.
All right, fine, but make it very quick. Go ahead.
I have my Cowboys versus the Chiefs.
Okay. What does that have to do with the Jets and drafting Zach Wilson?
No, I'm just saying. Zach Wilson will be the rookie of the year.
Okay.
On my count. He's going to be the rookie of the year. I'm calling him from God to God. Zach Wilson, rookie of the year.
Too early.
I'm calling it, bitch. And MVP of the season, Patrick Mahomes again. Comeback player of the year.
I definitely think those are all possibilities.
And
we really look. Wait, I want to get to I wanted to get to this quarterback class like for a second here because we look at this quarterback class, guys. I think I mentioned this before. I think this year's the 2021 like quarterback class has potential to go down as like one of the greatest quarterback classes of all time, in my opinion. You got guys like honestly Trevor Lawrence is going first overall. He's like easily the best aspect since Andrew coming out of college. I mean the guy is just wait, we see like what he's done like ever since like when he's looking at ever since he was a true freshman, like the guy has just been like unbelievable. He's only lost 2 football games in his entire college career, for crying out loud. I mean, Trevor Lawrence like is just ridiculous. And we already talked about Zach Wilson and how high I am at him. So those are 2 guys who I think are going to be legitimate stars in the NFL. Even beyond that, you have like guys like Mac Jones, who a couple of months ago we were saying who's Mac Jones, but he's like his stock has definitely like risen. I mean, there's reports like coming out of San Francisco that they're targeting him with a third overall pick. I mean, I really like Mac Jones, like in like and he's the perfect guy that I think would fit perfectly his college system, like with his accuracy, the way he can the way he can make those touch throws. I think Mac Jones would be a great fit in San Francisco. You look at a guy like Trey Lance, who even though he only played 1 year, he does have some accuracy concerns. Like he does have that arm strength that a team could that the team could fall in love with, and like hopefully they could coach up. You saw what happened with Josh Allen. Josh Allen coming out of college was considered extremely inaccurate, but look what the Buffalo Bills did. They coached him up, and now he is an accurate passer. He's one of the best quarterbacks in football. Justin Fields, who we all thought like was gonna be the second overall pick behind Trevor Lawrence. His stock has been falling His stock has been falling as late, but still, you can't sleep on Justin Fields too much. You saw the way he played in against Clemson, like in the college football playoffs. So you look at him like his mobility. He's like by far the most mobile quarterback in the NFL draft in this year's draft. So that's another interesting talk. Those are 5 guys right there. At least 2 of them I think are going to be stars, and one of those other 3, have chances to be really good quarterbacks. I think like I'm going to say this right now. I think like we're going to look back at 2021 as being like one of those like quarterback classes. It's going to be up there in my opinion with 2012, 2004. What was that other class? That's on the top of my head, but I think this 2021 quarterback class is gonna go down as like one of like the best quarterback classes of all time.
Yeah. I definitely think that Mac Jones has that much talent, and I think that since he's been playing for Nick Saban, I think that he might be a higher stock than Zach. But it depends like how good he did in the combine and stuff.
Yeah, I'll have to look up the combine stuff later on. I mean, who really cares about the combine at this point anyway? At this point anyway, but I definitely see your point about that Mac Jones. David, Michael, you have anything to say?
Nope.
David?
All I can say is going to be interesting this year for the draft. But
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be like a very insane draft, and I'm really looking forward to it. But going back to get I mean, I think we pretty much said all we thought about the Jets. Going into the draft, like we know they're going to draft. We know they're going to draft Alex Wilson. Michael, as a Jets fan, like, do you have any final thoughts on the Jets heading into the draft?
I think that they're good for life. We're good, baby.
All right. We'll move on. I'm going to give the floor to Alex and David. We still have to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. We talked a little bit about the Eagles earlier in the show, but we all know they're picking 12th overall. But I wanted to give our two resident Eagles fans, Alex Reach and David Heller, the floor here to break down the Eagles draft to a fine power. So, Alex and David, take it away.
Okay, so what I've been thinking and what has been on my mind is if the Giants snag Devontae Smith, I think that the Eagles would have to go with Jaden Waddle or I forget his name. He's from Minnesota. I forget. I think he's like top 7 of the.
I'll look it up. All right, but continue.
I mean, I don't see the Eagles getting Kyle Pitts because I think he's going to get drafted in the top 6, around that range. And also, I came across of a interesting article saying that there is talks of Buffalo and Philadelphia with trading Zach Ertz for a draft pick in the second round, and I'm really anxious to see how this turns out because this would be a huge miss for the Eagles of not keeping Zach Ertz because he's been so talented across the years with under Doug Peterson, and now Nick Sirianni is going to be the coach. And I think that having Darius Goddard with that mix, I think it's best for Zach Ertz to stay put in Philadelphia, but it depends on what the front office wants, and I'll be very disappointed to see Orch leave, but I think that it's best for him to stay put.
Yeah, you definitely make a great point. What are your thoughts on? I believe the Eagles kind of have a hole like at cornerback. What are your thoughts on potentially drafting Patrick Surratt in the second?
Yeah, I really like him. I also like that guy from TCU, Mo Hag. I think that's his name.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I still can't find the guy from Minnesota you were mentioning earlier.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay, but continue.
Okay. I think that we are definitely going to need help with Darius Slay and the secondary position because this past 2 years it's been an awful scene with let's say Malcolm Jenkins. Actually, Malcolm Jenkins has been with the Saints for a good amount of time, but I think that their need is a more solid look at the secondary to back up Darius Slay, and they can't afford to get anyone like Rasul Douglas because he's been awful with Philadelphia. And I think that if they end up getting a secondary in the third round, that would be a huge help for them. I think that the secondaries are going to be like the top 5 secondaries are still going to be on the board in the third round, and hopefully that the Eagles can snag one. If not,
Yeah.
then the next round.
I think if Devontae Smith falls to 12, then I think that's a no-brainer pick for you guys. I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, if he's there, then there's no doubt you're getting him.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he falls past Philadelphia. I'd be shocked if he falls past Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I think if Smith isn't there, I definitely think Jalen Waddle is definitely a good alternative. I think Patrick Surtain is definitely like a good alternative. I don't see depending on like if one of the big 5 quarterbacks is still there, they're definitely that trade down I think is a possibility. But overall similar to the Giants, I just think like it's a position where the Eagles just need to let the draft fall to them. I mean, we all know they didn't have a great free agency period, so they're going to be like because of like they'll be restricted by a cap for the next couple of years, so they're gonna have to build through the draft. The Eagles, like they're like ever since their last Super Bowl run, like I think the Eagles are a team that is probably gonna finish last in the like unfortunately is gonna finish like last in the division this year. Or I think like it's gonna be the Giants and Washington and Dallas. I definitely think it was a smart move by them to trade down to acquire like all those draft assets. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on like the Eagles draft. I think they just need to build I think they need to build through the draft. David, you had any thoughts on the Eagles draft?
I know we have done this draft for many of years. And even when
no shit,
all of it
Sherlock.
was growing up too. It's going to be interesting what Eagles can rebuild from the draft, like the after results. But we just need to get those guys like second, like we should get one of those guys or like secondary to get to tackle some bodies against their defense because they need a big time to get a secondary position. But when it comes to football, like it's like a heavy hitter competitive sport. Like if we have to build around Joe Flacco and Jalen Hurts. That's all I can say.
I definitely think this is gonna be a big year for Jalen Hurts. I definitely think it's gonna be like I definitely think this is gonna be his chance to earn the starting job in Philadelphia. Alex, go ahead.
Oh, I just found his name. His name is Rashad Bateman.
That's the guy from
Minnesota.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that'd be a big pickup for the Eagles as well. So it's definitely gonna be a big draft for all of our local teams, for the Eagles, for your Cowboys, Michael, for the Jets, and definitely for the Giants. I'm really looking forward to this year's NFL draft. I really enjoyed the draft last year with doing Roger Goodell's Spaceman. I thought that was very, very entertaining. I thought he did it. I thought like he did an amazing job. Say whatever you want about Roger Goodell, but I thought he killed it during that job thing. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be weird going back to it being like in person again on the big stage, because not gonna lie, I like it. Like I do have a soft spot for the way it was done last year, but I am glad that to see like society like getting more back to normal in the draft being in person. Like Roger Goodell's gonna be able to hug all the prospects again. Like the prospects be able to go on stage. It should be like a very, very entertaining NFL draft. So David, go ahead very quickly.
I just wanted to mention that I hope the Eagles didn't screw up the draft pick. Like, I know they did it last year, but it was actually disappointing. I remember watching last year's draft with my dad, like, and my brother. We were like besides ourselves doing that happen.
Yeah, definitely very good points. But we're running a little bit low on time here, so we gotta get to everyone's favorite segment of the show, our bets of the episode. So now we're gonna to recap last week's bets. I am a very salty human being today, guys. I am a very, very salty human being. You guys know why I'm salty? Because every single person on this freaking podcast won their bet except for me. I was the only one to take an L this past
It's not my
episode.
fault you
Okay,
suck.
so to recap, why did I take an L? I had the Nets over the Celtics on the money line. The Nets beat the Celtics on the money line. So, but I had the brilliant idea to pick Kyrie Irving to score over 28.5 points in a same game parlay. Kyrie Irving let me down. He only scored freaking 15 points. I mean, he had like 10 assists and he had double, so I'll give him a pass, but still, I am still a very salty human being about that. But everyone else won their bets. Chris had the Grizzlies over the Blazers on the money line, and he won that. David had the Nets over the Celtics on my line, except unlike me, he was smart enough to not do a same game parlay, so David won his bet. Alex had the Oakland Athletics over the Orioles on the money line. He won his bet. Marcellus had the Wizards over the Thunder on the money line, and Russell Westbrook to score a triple-double in a same game parlay. He won that bet. And Michael had the Knicks over the Raptors on the money line, and Julius Randle to score 20 points in a same game parlay as well. He won his bet. So to give an update on the standings. You shouldn't be laughing right now, Michael. You shouldn't be laughing because let me tell you right now, Chris is still in first place, 86 record, 74.98 points. David is in second place, 9-5 record, 67. He has the best record out of all of us, David. 67.51 points. Despite me having a 6-straight record, the worst record out of the bunch, due to my point total of 62.83 points, I remain in the top 3 at third.
That is
place.
bold. This point bias bold.
Do not the standings don't lie, Michael. Read it and weep. The standings do not lie.
You have the worst record in. You only beating me by one lousy point. Shut up.
Yeah, that's really Michael is at 7-7, 61.24, 61.24 points. He's in fourth place. Marcellus is at 7-7 as well, 47.27 points. He's in fifth place. And Alex, my friend, remains in last place.
Dang, Alex, you suck.
46.53 points.
You suck. You suck, Alexander Rich. Alex Reach.
Alex Reach. Alex, you want to respond to
that? Since I won my last bet, I'll say this now, and Adam, remember to keep this part and tweet it out.
Okay.
I think I'll be on a 6-bet winning streak.
Oh,
hold up! Can
Alex is making a bold prediction for himself.
You want to put a little bet? Hold up, Adam. Hold up.
Okay.
Put a little bet on the line. Want to make a bet? Come on, if you're that confident, put the bet up. Or Samantha, your mommy's wearing
he's gonna win 6 in a row.
What do you have in mind?
Okay, I win if you don't go on a 6-game winning streak, a 6-bet winning streak. You have to give me and Adam half your points. For all your wins, go to me and Adam.
Yeah, well, we can't do that. He can't. We're not doing.
No, his points. His points.
We can't bet point totals. I'm sorry, Michael. But you can bet anything else. You can bet anything else.
If you go on a 6-game losing streak, if you lose 1 game out of 6 games, you have to wear a Yankee shirt. You have to wear a Yankee shirt for 1 whole day.
Oh.
And if me and Adam are wrong, we'll wear a Red Sox hat for 24 hours.
How about this?
We'll wear a Red Sox hat for a podcast episode.
I'll wear a Red Sox hat for a podcast.
And Alex has to wear
a Yankees hat for a podcast. What's the matter, Boogies? Scared?
I was thinking that if I lose, I would have to put an Aaron Judge picture as my Twitter profile pic for a week.
Done.
Okay.
Deal.
Done. So if Alex, what's the bet again? Just to be clear on the terms, what does Alex have to do?
He has to go on a 6-game betting streak. Starting now. If I were you, you better go to synagogue. You better pray.
Let me make sure. Right now, Alex is on. Right now, he just won last week, so he currently has 1. So he needs to win 5 more. He needs to win the next 5 straight. And if you don't, Alex, that don't count. You have to make.
Now, Adam. It starts now, so he's at 0.
All right, so you're at 0. Do you accept the conditions, Alex? If you don't win 6 bets in a row, you have to make Aaron Judge your profile picture on Twitter for a week. Do you accept those conditions?
Accept.
David, you're a witness, right?
Okay. The first ever bet, aside from our usual bets, but the first ever bet involving our bets in the history of the Game podcast is on out. If Alex doesn't win at least 6 straight bets, he has to make Aaron Judge his profile picture on Twitter for a week. So to our listeners, you might want to have to keep on tuning in to our bets. So because
if he does win, if he does win, me and Adam have to wear a Red Sox hat.
And if he does win, me and Michael have to wear a Red Sox hat
for one episode, for 1 whole episode.
And we will post pictures of it on our Twitter.
We will. Shut up, you little man, Smurf. Okay, boys, let's pick our bet.
All right, So I'm gonna go first here. I usually always go first, and guys, I've decided to make an NFL draft bet. I'm going to make since obviously the NFL draft is coming up. I am looking at the NFL draft for my bet of the episode. And I was looking at this, and I really like this pick. It's really caught my surprise. This bet. I'm taking the over/under on Devontae Smith's draft position. The over/under for Devontae Smith's draft position is 11.5. So I'm going to take the over on Devontae Smith's draft position. I'm taking the over on the 11.5. So for those of you who don't know, the over when it comes to NFL draft is you're predicting that that the player we picked before the selected number. So since Devontae Smith is at 11.5, I am betting that he will be drafted before that he will be drafted at the 11th pick or earlier. So that is my bet. I think all this talk about him like potentially falling in the draft is way overblown. I think I just think that he's just too much of a he has too much of a dynamic playmaking ability. He's just too much of a dynamic player to, I think, to fall like past like the 11th pick in the draft, especially past the Giants. It's like I would have to be again. I told you before how much I love this Devontae Smith and how thrilled I would be to see him in New York Giants blues. So that's my bet. I am taking Devontae Smith over 11.5 in the NFL draft. All right. Next up, Alex, we're gonna save you for later. Is how much since for a little bit later because we want to build up the spice a little more. David, you want to go? You're in second place. Big bet for you. You have a chance take the lead here.
So I'm looking at the hockey bet. I'm going Bruins over Penguins.
Bruins over Penguins. Money line, right?
Yeah. It says
all right.
It says 67% bets were over.
Okay.
Total goals.
Okay. So we do have unfortunately we don't have Chris's bet because Chris has been busy during his personal leave. So unfortunately we don't have his bet. So for our next episode we're gonna give for this week we're just gonna give him an NA and next week he will have 2 bets. But we do have Marcellus's bet here. Marcellus is taking the Nets over the Toronto Raptors on the money line. So I'll mark that down. Nets over Raptors on the money line. Now we have Alex here. He has to win 6 straight bets in order to avoid him making Aaron Judge his profile pick. So Alex, you talked a big game. Now I'll see you back it up. Go right ahead. Make your bet. It's a big one.
Okay, I am going to be making a baseball one. Mm-hmm. I am going to pick the San Francisco Giants money line over Colorado.
I don't have any problems with that. Giants over Rockies on the money line. A little anticlimactic considering the build-up you made for it, but you know what, Alex? Alex, I'm not going to get mad at you for that. Yeah, instead of him letting the hype get to him, he's being cool and calculated. That's how the good bettors. That's how you have to be when you're a sports gambler. So all right, last up, Big Money Mike. Go ahead.
You know something, sweetheart, Adam? You know something, sweetheart? We've been doing this for a long time, Adam. Mm-hmm. Me and you and been watching sports for 10 years. Me, Alex, and Dave been watching sports for 5 years. Am I right, sweetheart? Mm-hmm. What's my record, Adam? What's my record?
You are 7-7.
Last time I took my bet, I won a 2-game parlay. Mm-hmm. Took a game parlay. I had the Knicks winning on money line and I Julius Randle scoring 20. You know what? A gambler, no. Here's a good thing about a great gambler that I am. You got to roll the dice. I'm 2-1 when I pick the Knicks. I'm 2-1 if I pick the Knicks. You know what? You know something there, Adam? We're going to stay in New York country. We're going to stay in New York, man.
All right.
Can my bet strike twice? Could it happen? Hell, fuck it. I'm going with my Knicks, baby. Against the Bulls, money line, and Julius Randle scoring 20 points or more again. Now,
ooh.
Jocko!
Michael's going right back to his Knicks on a same game parlay. Knicks over the Bulls on the money line, and Julius Randle to score 20 points or more.
Yeah, I swear we winning, baby.
Another same game parlay involving the Knicks. He's doing the exact same thing. He's making the exact same bet last week. Knicks to win and Julius Randle to score 20 or more on a same game parlay. So, I mean, the Knicks, if it ain't broke, they'll fix it. The Knicks have currently won 9 straight. And, they've shown no signs of slowing down. So, again, if it ain't broke, they'll fix it.
They lost tonight. They lost tonight, unfortunately.
Oh, they lost tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's rebuilding. It's a rebuild.
All right. So the Knicks are good. So Mike's looking for his Knicks to bounce back. So that's all for the bets of this episode, and that's all for this episode in general. We're looking for we expect to have Chris back. We're gonna do our show. We expect our next episode to be on Friday, right after round 1 of the NFL draft, and then we'll do a complete draft recap. The Monday after. So 2 more NFL draft episodes up for you guys. But again, guys, I'm really looking forward to this NFL draft. I think it's gonna be very, very exciting.
Got you, brother.
Definitely. So any final thoughts?
What?
All right, that's it. This has been episode 15 of the Game On Podcast. It's yours truly, Adam Grassani, Michael Cunningham, Alex Reich, David Howard, Chris Kern, and Marcellus Murdock. If you like what you heard, leave a like and follow or subscribe to the podcast. Also, if you want to join the conversation, drop a comment or review, and we may feature it in a future episode. My friends, don't assume your juice is just nasty. If you can imagine a world, believe in it, and dive in. See you next time, and until then, stay lit.